This is sort of a go-kart, not really a go-kart. It was built with bits and pieces I sort of had lying around. So these wheels and the axle studs were from an old go-kart I used to have way back when. And this engine, that's off a snowblower. It's a Tecumseh HSK 600, so it's a two-stroke engine, but it's about 100 cc and it produces about it's supposed to produce 3 horsepower. Compression is not terribly good, but and then let's see, this gearbox here, this is off of a Rug ET lawn tractor or something of that sort. It's a 3-speed gearbox. So there's first, second, third, and reverse. It's a dog box. It's completely unsynchronized. And I'm sort of transmitting power via a belt underneath here. So I put a pulley on the engine there. And then I've got this tensioner system, which is not really working to the best of its ability. I still need to sort of fiddle with that a bit. And it detensions the belt via this clutch pedal here, so it operates like a proper car in some regards. And there's a cable which actuates the actual thing. These pulleys are awesome. They're nylon pulleys, and they've got ball bearings inside, and you can just sort of mount them wherever you want. They're really quite nice. And then the rear axle is not just a bog standard solid rear axle. It's got a differential in it. It's got a big sprocket, and it's got a band brake. And this also came off the lawn tractor, so this is fantastic. So what I've done, basically the power transmission is, there's the engine, which is set up so that the shaft is vertical, and then there's a belt back to the underside of this gearbox, which has the input shaft is sticking out the bottom. That's tension and detention via the sort of a tension clutch. And then there is a chain running back to a jack shaft here. And then there's another chain running to the rear axle. Now I know this sounds a little bit sort of sketchy. It is a bit, yeah. And the chassis is also wooden, which I'm not terribly comfortable with. This was, in a way, a sort of prototype. Now that I've got my welder, I'm hoping that I'll be able to weld up a steel chassis for this, which will be a little bit more solid, and then I'll install better bearing mountings than these, bearings epoxied into wood. That was a bit bad, and, I can put on chain guards. And I'm hoping to find some, maybe some motorcycle tires. Also hoping that I might be able to install some quarter elliptical leaf springs in place of this wooden bar axle here, which is a bit archaic. The other thing that I need to attend to is the carburetor on the original engine was set up such that now that I've turned it vertically, it would be sideways and fuel would just sort of leak out of it and it wouldn't work at all. So I built this extension pipe, which is actually PVC, and a couple of plates, one of which bolts on there, and then this sort of support structure thingy, which bolts onto another bit of the engine. And it's kind of flimsy, and my throttle pedal here, which is, pulling this via a bit of jute rope, that's also not terribly well set up. I need to remedy that. The choke is just sort of sticking out here. So I'm thinking that maybe I can take, some steel plate cut into the shape of these, plates here and a piece of steel tube, and I'll just sort of weld the thing together. That will be much better. And I've just sort of thrown the fuel tank over here. So this is, I guess you can look at this as a sort of a mock-up, mock-up of what will be on the real thing. And, obviously I'd never actually drive this. That would be hideously dangerous, but it is an idea board, if you like, for what is to come. This seat was kind of the thing that gave me the idea to do the whole thing, because I was at IKEA for whatever reason, and I just sort of saw this seat, you know, in a plastic package, and it was about $5 or so, and I thought, you know what, that would make a great seat for a go-kart, and it wasn't attached to anything else. I think it was supposed to go to a computer chair or something, but I just saw the seat itself, and so I thought, you know what, there's this wood lying around in my garage, my mom doesn't want it, so I'll use that, I'll build a chassis, and I've got some bits lying around, I'll just sort of put together a go-kart, and I did, and, well, while it might not be drivable, it's certainly interesting. And it is, you know, a marshalling of ideas for things to come. Also, I've got a bit of a dashboard here, which is just a piece of 1/4-inch hardwood ply that I had lying around. This key, this ignition key, is from the snowblower, and I sort of ran cabling down there. This switch here is a 50 amp switch, and I'm thinking maybe I can use it for a starter motor. This is going to be my headlamp, and I've got a single pole double throw switch, which can be my turn signal, left and right. The steering setup here is really just to allow me to wheel it around the garage. It's not at all practicable, but that will be improved come future versions of this design. And yeah, so we'll see how that pans out. I'll keep you updated. Yeah.